Good morning. We're back in the library this week, and it's not a repeat book, but it is repeat author. This is another Gordon Livingston book called How to Love. The subtitle is Choosing Well at Every Stage of Life. It's a great book. I mean, if I could hand this to every 18-year-old, I would. Probably at 18, they're actually not really ready for it. So if you could find that moment in their life when they're ready to start dating with purpose, well, maybe 20, 24, I don't know where that is. But if you could hand it to them then, it is a great read about how to choose well in every stage of life. The first thing I want to read to you is some of his titles to his chapters, because just as with the other book, Too Soon Old, Too Late Smart, his titles for his chapters are just, they're brilliant. They're so succinct, but they communicate a message. Fear is the prison of the heart. Always borrow from a pessimist. He won't expect to be paid back. No hell is private. The most dangerous food to eat is a wedding cake. Falling in love with love is falling for make-believe. And on and on. They're just a lot of great titles. I'm going to read to you a couple of selections here that I find very appealing and very interesting. If I can dial them up here. Let's hope I can. In our attempt to find happiness and surround ourselves with people who will help us reach this goal, we are faced with the elemental truth that we are entitled to receive only what we are prepared to give. Now, marinate on that a moment. We are entitled to receive only what we are willing to give. If you want to get joy, you have to give joy. If you want to get respect, you got to give respect. If you want to get fidelity, you have to give fidelity. There's a great quote in here where he says, women marry men thinking they can be changed. Men marry women thinking they will never change. And both are disappointed. you just, his insight into humanity. Oh my goodness. How we feel when in the presence of another person is an excellent indicator of the value of the relationship. That is something that we should teach our children when they start exploring dating at 16 or 19 or 20 or 23. Is how we feel in the presence of another person is an excellent indicator of the value of the relationship. As I mentioned earlier, every human interaction makes us feel a little better or worse about ourselves. Sometimes the difference is large. If we save someone's life, we have a right to feel heroic. If we allow someone to merge on the freeway, we improve for a moment our sense of ourselves. Conversely, if we cut them off, we are likely to lose some self-respect. So if we feel more worthwhile as a result of being around someone, that is an important reason for wanting to prolong that experience. In relationships, whether it's romantic or not, how you feel in their presence, if it makes you feel better, more loved, more respected, you have a greater sense of being comfortable and being yourself around them, that's a good indicator of a good, positive relationship. But if being with them makes you feel bad or sad or less likely to like yourself, then that's a good indicator that that person is not a good fit for you. And then I got time for one more maybe. Let's see here. Sorry. We all understand the physical beauty of human beings. As we grow old, the beauty steals inward, writes Emerson. What he meant was that certain attributes of character replace the good connective tissue that is solely the property of the young. These traits, fortunate for those wise enough to appreciate them, are usually discernible early in our lives, certainly by our late adolescence. The problem for most of us is that we are too imperceptive or uninformed to recognize them, especially since we are blinded and deafened by our hormonal impulses and by our lopsided emphasis on physical attractiveness. I hope you got that. We have beauty in our youth, but another thing that we have in our youth is that we are showing you something. We are showing you something about our character. And that, as our beauty fades as we age, that, if you're paying attention to it, that character development or the lack of character development is going to continue to rise or decline. But you get a little preview of it, even in adolescence. And so when you're dating in those early years, you're really trying to discern by looking, if you will not be blinded by vision, by your attractiveness to their beauty, if you will look, you can see, do they tolerate other people? Do they forgive easily? Do they work hard? Do they try their best? Do they get easily frustrated? But Gordon is lamenting that we have a lopsided emphasis on physical attractiveness. And he's right. Anyway, if you have a chance to pick it up, How to Love by Gordon Livingston. Have a good day.